Hold my beer, I'm gonna crash Dave's wedding. Literally. Ever heard someone say that and then actually watch them strap on a homemade jetpack at a church ceremony? We've got the story of an amateur inventor who thought someone else's special day needed more explosions. What's up, Hold My Beer fans? Welcome to Wow Amazing, where today we're sending 10 people straight to the fiery pits of terrible decision hell. But before we start judging people's terrible life choices, do us a favor and smash that subscribe button harder than these people smash their common sense. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. It didn't say hold my beer before doing something stupid, but it feels left out. All right, get ready. This countdown is packed with confident idiots, so spectacular, they'll make you wonder if these people were actually secretly working for chaos demons. Number 10, the Ferret Fiasco. Sometimes the difference between criminal mastermind and complete numpty comes down to weapon selection, and our first contestant clearly skipped that lesson. Imagine a petrol station in Manchester, 2 a.m., when our protagonist walks in with what he believes is the perfect plan. Our would-be criminal approaches the counter and produces a live ferret instead of anything remotely threatening. That's right. His weapon of choice was Mr. Whiskers, a confused woodland creature wondering why its evening walk had taken such an unexpected turn. The cashier just stood there processing this turn of events like a broken computer. You could practically see him thinking, hold my beer. Apparently my Tuesday night just got interesting. That's when Mr. Whiskers decided he'd had enough and made a break for freedom. What followed was pure Benny Hill, grown man chasing small mammal around convenience store, while knocking over crisps and dignity. The twist? Our criminal genius forgot that bringing your pet to a robbery means leaving behind the world's most unusual witness. The cashier called animal control instead of police. The real victim was clearly the ferret. But if you think pet-powered crime is bad, wait until you see what happens when someone brings experimental aviation to a wedding. Number 9, the Wedding Bell Blues. Meet Trevor, a Surrey inventor whose greatest achievement was turning till death do us part into till Trevor crashes the party. When his mate Dave announced his outdoor wedding, most people would think about speeches or gifts. Trevor had a different idea entirely. Trevor had spent 3 years building what he generously called a jetpack in his garden shed. Think less Iron Man, more leaf blower with commitment issues. And now he was looking at Dave's outdoor ceremony thinking, hold my beer. This wedding needs a jetpack demonstration. The vicar was just getting to speak now, or forever hold your peace when Trevor fired up his engines. For 15 glorious seconds, Trevor achieved flight, probably feeling like Icarus but with worse judgment. Then physics remembered it existed. The jetpack began making sounds flying machines shouldn't make, sending Trevor into uncontrolled descent directly toward the reception tent. The impact was spectacular. Trevor plowed through the marquee roof, demolished the buffet table, and landed face first in what used to be a 3-tier wedding cake. And more importantly, Trevor's landing zone was precisely where the groom's mother had been standing. She dove for cover straight into the duck pond, designer outfit and all. Final bill, 8,000 pounds in catering damages, and a marriage that lasted 6 months. Think Trevor's bad? Our next story features someone who turned hiding from society into a full-time career. Number 8, the Main Hermit's entrepreneurial spirit. For 27 years, Christopher Knight lived in Maine woods, surviving entirely on what he could nick from holiday homes. We're talking 40 successful thefts per year for nearly 3 decades, over 1,000 burglaries without getting caught. Knight had turned theft into performance art, keeping detailed mental notes on when families arrived and what they'd brought. He knew which campers packed good snacks, who brought extra batteries, and which families left doors unlocked. For nearly 3 decades, he watched holidaymakers like a nature documentary, probably thinking, hold my beer, I'm gonna live off these people forever, and they'll never notice. Knight's downfall came in 2013, when a game warden caught him stealing food. After 27 years of perfect crime, he got nabbed like a common burglar. The twist? People had been telling stories about the hermit for years, assuming it was folklore. Turns out the folklore was just really committed to accuracy. Knight mastered the art of invisible theft. But our next character took a very different approach to terrorizing the public. Number 7, the Bunny Man's fashion statement. The Bunny Man decided the most effective way to tell people they were trespassing was to dress in a white suit with rabbit ears and carry a hatchet. Because apparently someone, somewhere, looked at property management and thought it needed more costume drama. Our story begins with a couple parked under a bridge when a figure emerged wearing what looked like a costume party gone horribly wrong. The bunny man informed them they were trespassing, but chose to emphasize his point by hurling a hatchet at their windscreen. 2 weeks later, a security guard spotted him attacking a porch railing with his hatchet, apparently because the woodwork had personally offended him. At this point, witnesses probably thought, "Hold my beer, I've officially seen everything now." The twist? They never caught him. The bunny man vanished into local legend, leaving behind only property damage and the sort of story that makes people question humanity's mental health. The bridge became Bunny Man Bridge because nothing honors local history quite like naming landmarks after unhinged criminals in fancy dress. From costume-wearing maniacs to modern family surprises, DNA testing has revealed some truly uncomfortable truths. Number 6, the 23andMe family reunion nobody ordered. Dave ordered a DNA test hoping to confirm his Irish heritage. The ancestry was boring, but the DNA relatives section listed a half-brother, same age, living nearby. Odd since his parents never mentioned misplacing any children. Dave clicked the profile and found himself staring at his own face with different hair. They met at a cafe, and the resemblance was so uncanny that customers kept staring like they were witnessing a glitch in the Matrix. After detective work and awkward family calls, the truth emerged. Both were donor-conceived from the same anonymous sperm donor. But that made Dave think, hold my beer. My family just got exponentially more complicated. That anonymous donor was his mom's college boyfriend, and his dad had known the entire time. For 30 years, Dave's dad had been raising his wife's ex-boyfriend's son while pretending he didn't know. The most shocking revelations sometimes come from the people closest to us, like the neighbor in our next story. Number 5. The neighbor who cleaned too much. Sarah installed a pet camera expecting to see her cat doing nothing while looking judgmental. Instead, she discovered her neighbor hoovering the living room like she was preparing for royal inspection. Over the next few days, notifications revealed acts of domestic kindness, watering plants, changing litter boxes, even playing with her cat using toys brought from her own house. Sarah came home to the cleanest flat she'd ever lived in, a content cat and a note thanking her for the privilege of helping. Instead of discovering a burglar, she'd found possibly the kindest human in Britain. Sarah probably thought, hold my beer, I'm about to become the worst neighbor ever by comparison. The only thing stolen was her cynicism about human nature. But not all unexpected discoveries are heartwarming. Our next story takes a tragically darker turn. Number 4, the baby that never was. Emma and James had been trying for a baby when Emma finally announced pregnancy. James prepared the nursery while Emma became distant, spending hours in the attic. Emma started dreaming about a specific cradle. When James found one in the attic, Emma went pale. It was exactly like her dreams. Emma became obsessed with the cradle, sometimes claiming she could hear crying. James thought it was normal, expectant behavior. The devastating truth came at a hospital visit. Emma wasn't pregnant, had never been pregnant. The twist that made doctors think, hold my beer, this case just got heartbreaking. Emma had a brain tumor causing hallucinations so vivid she'd created an entire pregnancy in her mind. The cradle belonged to James's family, and her dreams were fragmented memories she couldn't access. This serves as a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous moments happen inside our own minds. From internal struggles to external chaos, parenting can become surprisingly profitable. Number 3, the dad blogger revolution. Initially, Mark's calls to his wife were damage reports, but by day 4, he discussed emotional breakthroughs with the enthusiasm of someone who discovered fire. His wife got suspicious when Mark talked about mental load distribution, like he'd been replaced by a parenting consultant. She returned expecting disaster, but found clean laundry, happy children, and Mark handing her a family ops folder. The twist? Mark had been documenting everything for a dad blog that attracted 500 subscribers, fascinated by his peanut butter catastrophes. He'd accidentally turned survival into side career. Mark essentially thought, hold my beer, I'm gonna monetize my domestic disasters and become an influencer. Sometimes the best business ideas come from complete chaos. Speaking of unexpected career moves, workplace deception takes a very personal turn in our next story. Number 2, the secretary with a secret. counterpart, Dana, became indispensable at work, mysteriously intuitive about the boss's preferences. Colleagues noticed how well she understood him, anticipating his needs with uncanny accuracy. When asked how she knew so much about his personal life, Dana paused, looked them straight in the eye and said, "Because I'm his daughter, but not the daughter he knows about, the one he doesn't." Dana was the result of an affair, and he'd never known she existed. She'd taken the job to finally meet the man who'd unknowingly shaped her life. The boss, completely oblivious, probably would have thought, "Hold my beer. My employee just revealed she's my secret daughter," if he'd actually known what was happening. Instead, he continued treating her like any other secretary while she gathered pieces of her own origin story. And if you think that's the strangest case of mistaken identity, wait until you hear about our number one story. Number 1. The corpse that became a tourist. Elmer McCurdy died in 1911, but death was just the beginning. His embalmed corpse became a traveling sideshow attraction for 65 years. Eventually, paperwork got lost, and McCurdy ended up hanging in a funhouse, mistaken for a prop. For decades, visitors posed next to his actual corpse, thinking it was special effects. The truth came out in 1976 when a film crew tried moving him. A crew member grabbed McCurdy's arm, and it came off. Literally, a real human arm from someone dead 65 years. That crew member probably thought, "Hold my beer, I just discovered this mannequin is actually a mummified outlaw." And the crazy part? McCurdy had been hanging there so long he'd become local scenery, bought and sold like a business expense, while maintaining his career as inadvertent entertainer. McCurdy finally got proper burial in 1977, having achieved posthumous fame most people couldn't dream of. Some people become legends in life. McCurdy became one in death, and then spent decades as unknowing entertainment. That's our countdown of humanity's finest moments in competitive decision-making, from ferret-based crime to posthumous tourism careers. What unites these magnificent disasters is that moment when someone looks at a perfectly reasonable situation and thinks, "You know what this needs? My personal touch." So next time you're about to say, "Hold my beer," and attempt something ambitious, remember these stories and maybe hold on to that beer a bit longer. Share this video if you enjoyed watching Confident Mistakes, and subscribe for more proof that human creativity is unstoppable, even when it should be. This is Wow Amazing, signing off until next time.